The original Fable is one of my favorite games of all time, and I truly believe it is one of the best RPGs ever made. It doesn't have the best gameplay, it doesn't have the biggest open world, it doesn't have sprawling dialogue trees with branching outcomes, and yet it has more personality than almost any RPG I've ever played. And the best part? It's a compact focused RPG that can be finished in around 10 to 15 hours. For context, I am a massive fan of RPGs. Some of my favorite games of all time include Dragon Age Origins, the Mass Effect Trilogy, Baldur's Gate 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Kingdom Come Deliverance. But my love for RPGs started with this game, Fable. I played it long after its release when I was a little kid and I barely knew any English. I didn't know what an RPG was. I remember picking it up because the cover looked cool and I had no idea or expectation of what the game would be. You might think that my praise for this game is driven by nostalgia, and it is partially true, but playing this game over a decade later, my appreciation for it is even greater. I have a strong memory of being blown away by the first few minutes of the game. The small town of Oakvale, the beautiful music, the bright and colorful presentation, it was unlike anything I had played at that time. And after playing it again in 2026, I think this is still one of the strongest video game openings of all time. Fable has a very specific tone, a kind of whimsical, almost storybook-like humor that gives the entire experience a personality unlike anything else in the genre. And this is clear from the very beginning in Oakvale.
Deep in the forest of Albion lay the small town of Oakvale, unchanged by time and untouched by the sword. Here lived a boy and his family, a boy dreaming of greatness, of one day being a hero.
Oakvale is such a perfect little glimpse of what the majority of the game has to offer. Most RPGs start with a big set piece, a long cutscene, or immediately drop you into a massive world. Fable does none of that. Instead, it gives you a small, quiet town and lets you figure things out at your own pace. And in just a few quests, it gives you a real taste of the tone and style of everything that's coming. Just to clarify, the version I'm playing now is Fable Anniversary, which is a remaster of the original. The version I played as a kid was Fable: The Lost Chapters. And if you're interested in trying this game, I highly recommend the Anniversary Edition because it's easier to find and runs better on modern hardware. Now let's take a look at Oakvale. We play as an unnamed boy who's given a task by his father. For every good deed we do around Oakvale, he will give us 1 coin, and we need 3 coins to buy a gift for our sister. Simple. We're not told what quests we have to do, where to buy the gift, or where our sister is. We just get these green dots on the map. As we start walking, a girl approaches us asking us to find her teddy bear. No marker, no pointer. At the center of the town, we see a woman yelling, asking us to let her know if we see her husband. Around the back of one of these houses, we find him, having an affair. He offers us a coin to keep quiet. This is our first moral choice. Tell his wife and do a good deed, or take the coin and stay silent. Pretty simple, right? Except we can actually do both. Take his coin, then go tell his wife anyway. That counts as a good deed, so our father gives us another coin on top of what we got from the man.
They swine! I ought to chop them right off! Don't insult me anymore! My mother was right about you!
You know I only have eyes for you, my sweet.
Well, if you think I'm going to cook and clean for you while you're out having a good time with your strumpet, you've got another thing coming!
We weren't doing anything.
When I first played this, it was one of the funniest things I had ever seen in a video game. Next, a man asks us to guard his barn while he goes to pee. A kid shows up and goads us into breaking the barrels. Again, we can do both. Break the barrels, find a coin inside, then get back to our spot before the man returns and still get credit for the good deed. The last task has us finding a boy bullying another kid. We can beat the bully up, and the kid hands over a teddy bear, which we can return to the girl who was looking for it. Or we can join the bully, punch the kid, and the bully takes the bear and gives us a coin instead. My point in highlighting these tasks is to show how the morality system works in Fable. These decisions don't alter the game in a way you'd think. The story stays mostly the same, and the results you get from the tasks don't change too much. But it very much affects how the NPCs react to you, how they treat you. The choices do get greater consequences later on in the game, and there are different endings based on your choices, but they are always binary. You can either be good, a hero in people's eyes, or be bad and be feared by everyone. This theme of morality doesn't just stop at quests. Your appearance dictates if people will fear you or love you. You can give gifts to people, get married, or show off your trophies to a crowd, which earns you renown. These elements are introduced later after Oakvale. After gathering enough coins, we buy a present for our sister, and just as we hand it to her, bandits raid Oakvale.
Bandits!
It's really happening. They're here. You've got to hide.
The whole village burns down. Our mother and sister are taken away, and our father dies. It's a shocking shift in tone, and it immediately establishes that Fable isn't just a lighthearted fairy tale. When the story needs to be dark, it doesn't hold back. We are then taken into the Heroes Guild, where we go through training and meet our guildmaster, who acts as a guide throughout the game. This section is mostly a tutorial for combat, along with a few side quests. The time then skips to us becoming a teenager and eventually an adult. After this, we get to finally get out of the guild and dive into the world. Once you step into the first big town, Bowerstone, the game really opens up.
Oi! You're new here, aren't you? We have some rules round here that you need to know about. Bowerstone is a peaceful town. I'll have to confiscate your weapons for now. There are shops, inns, lots of different people, games, all kinds of things. Why not pay the tavern a visit first? It's the building in front of you, just up the road from here. Oh, and keep an eye open for Lady Grey. Treat her with respect. She is the mayor after all. Have a look around and enjoy your stay in Bowerstone.
It's much more lively. There are a lot more NPCs. You can buy property, trade, do side quests, join a fighting tournament, and much more. This is where the game gets you hooked. There are more towns and settlements later in the game, but Bowerstone was the most memorable for me. With all that being said, Fable isn't a perfect game. Far from it. Especially playing it now, the combat feels very dated. You have your basic melee attack, a ranged attack, and a magic attack, but all of these feel slow and clunky. The areas in between the big towns are easily the weakest part of the game. Most of them are just linear, narrow pathways that have fodder enemies scattered around. The leveling system is very limited. You have your basic attributes like strength, speed, agility, and a couple more, but they're quite linear. For some people, this might be a negative because of how limited it is, but for others, this might be a positive as it takes out the complexity of worrying about what to level up. I personally like this simplicity because combat isn't the game's strongest aspect. The renown system is also straightforward. Do good things and people love you, do bad things and people fear you. However, these flaws don't stick out as much because the game is so short. The strengths of Fable are in its writing, its tone, and its characters. I am deliberately not going into the story because I think you should experience it yourself. What I will say is that for a game this short, the story is surprisingly gripping. The characters are memorable, the villain is compelling, the pacing never drags, and the world reacts to your choices in ways that feel personal. It never feels like the game is outstaying its welcome. And while most of the game has this lighthearted tone, it does go to darker places, especially if you go down the evil path, and they hit harder than you'd expect from a game that opens with a boy buying his sister a birthday present. What Fable does better than most RPGs is personality. It's whimsical, funny, and charming in a way I don't often see in modern RPGs. The story is straightforward, the systems are simple, but the whole thing comes together in a way that just works. If you have any tolerance for dated combat and visuals, I highly recommend it. And if you've never played an RPG before, this is one of the best places to start. It has everything an RPG should have, but scaled down, and it has none of the overwhelming complexity that puts people off. It's about 15 hours, it runs on almost anything, and it's often on sale for under $10. So do yourself a favor and play it. Thanks for watching.